are feeling a little less confident in the composition that they had done, swapping Kane's Era over onto that Sage. I mean, listen, we've seen some crazy battle Sages kind of come out here, but also given the performance that Kane's Era has been having, I don't know, maybe this is just a little bit of extra stuff that you can kind of use to help out the rest of the team. Regardless, Envy are coming into here. The home crowd is against them, but all of NA is going to be watching right now because this is a team that had such high expectations. And for honestly, right now, one of these teams get eliminated. It's just kind of crazy to think about.
And it's going to be as crazy a match as these teams are. Both live to fight. And CD Zord off of that first recon is going to get the first blood of the match. Envy fully in, but trying to find a way to fight through it. And Poppin trying to find the right extension. He's been able to find Tisora, but not before he gets his own as well. So STE maintain advantage, but will give the ground away after that opening fight. As Kane's Era will take that high ground. Two swinging out from the back. Poppin attempting to lead that charge from both prongs so that Kane can snake in turn, but Poppin meeting it early, and so SW prompted to move forward after the opening frag. 1v2, and Kane's Era can't line up those final shots. So two will stay standing for the pistol, as disciplined as you would expect STE to try to handle that, and they perform that beautifully.
Yeah, STE Gaming, I mean, they talked about a bit of the synergy that we've seen from the team, but overall, they're coming in with this style that you expect to see a lot of these Brazilian teams play with. A little bit more cautious, a little bit more, hey, let's just group up and play together, versus that NA style that we've been talking about a little bit on the desk of like, let's just send it and then just find all these crazy kills and all that type of stuff. It's definitely a stylistic clash that comes out on top, but that means that the win condition right now for Envy is the single fragging power that you want to and honestly should expect to see from a lot of these players. Regardless though, STE, they take that first round right off the bat. We're gonna be seeing the good weapons come out here, as good as they can get, as it's gonna be a fast hit by Envy.
Yeah, Envy really gonna try and rely on that individuality with the worst guns, and Eggs are gonna be the first to have to do it with this classic on the TP, and he will grab that frontline frag, but Envy can't move any farther forward. They'll just have to work off of this barrier that Kane has set up this time to zone rather than to frag himself. Still losing a second on the way down, and it's Poppin on this Hero Guardian that's gonna have to hold court from a distance. Still, STE maintain that personnel advantage and prevent any other member of STE, or Envy, excuse me, from moving fully forward. Inspire still trying to manage that flank after Zenatsu got to it so quickly in the previous round. Already trying to condition as many variables as possible against a team that tries to make rounds trivial. Poppin after the first poke, taking a huge chunk of that damage, and they'll have to resort to the gravity well to try to stall. Still, he's already gotten half of this spike, and so Envy have to resort to desperation and perhaps a little bit of trollery. STE will take the two, however it goes.
Yeah, the Abyss map changes, huh? Yeah, that's happened there.
Yeah,
oh, it's crazy.
right,
Crazy
sure.
how that goes. Yeah. I mean,
right.
Even if you looked at the player cams there like Poppin knew, and you kind of messed that one up. Just flew off to the end there. But all things considered, a very just, classic second round coming through. We see actually Yi do really good, being able to anchor things down, find those necessary picks, mitigate a lot of the bleeding that was kind of coming through, just because at that point, like, a lot of the players of Envy had gotten quite a few kills. So thankfully they're able to carry a lot of their weaponry into this next round. On the other side, we do see Poppin just on that stinger there, but just a couple of ultimate orbs away from having Hunter's Fury online. Another fast hit.
Yeah, Poppin will take that L. I don't think he deserves to have a rifle after that round. Might be the one that matters though, as SW is able to just tear down two. And STE, they've already zoned themselves around Tisora's smoke that he sets up just so close. Trying to back out though, and yeah, Poppin sees the moment that he can at least grab that lineup, but still damage has already been done. The crowd is laid waste to.
Yeah, and honestly, that round was just off of a paranoia from Tisora, just at the perfect timing there. And like you see, one of the things that we highlighted was how the team kind of plays around the utility, how they're making sure that they're kind of playing off of that. The highlight was on Zenatsu, but the rest of the team are more than comfortable to also just use all of this timing, use the utility perfectly to know when to pop out and swing off of each other. This is just something that we expect from STE Gaming, and I know that we said that these two teams are very similar playstyle, but when it comes to those more textbook type of initiations, textbook swings, I do think that STE do come out on top.
Left.
We also said that those attack halves from both sides were going to be tough. Both STE and Envy have been locking down these defenses, willing to crunch and trap set so well. And that leads us to the battle of these IGLs that I think will represent a lot of how these teams evolve across the series. Poppin and C2 Zord having tremendous reading game across both their season regionally and even this Ascension. They have adapted so quickly. And a lot of that macro is going to influence at least the pre-plants that have led to these 2-for-1s, 2-for-3s that have kind of led the rounds astray already.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, up 3-0. It's going to be yet another bargain bin buy on the side of Envy. Exeter going to be the only person having that Guardian in hand, but Zanatsu finds it right off the bat with the Outlaw, and so that drops Exeter down. And given the fact that Kainzera is now onto that stage, there's no real leader to kind of walk through. I say that, but Zanatsu down, Kainzera brings Exeter right back.
Yeah, had to get that kill for a reason, and now he can get the orb to start the other one. Yeah, I mean, he'll certainly take those with a ghost as well. I just like the opportunistic nature of these guys never dies, despite how far they could be down. The confidence plays such a big role in how these teams will recover and how Envy will persist despite C2 Zord consistently getting this connection off of the recon. It's Kainzera down after his first frag, 4v4 on the post plant. We've got another flanker on our hands. In fact, 2 double smokes coming from the flank. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, Stellai have way better guns, way better positioning. How many more can you get on the way down? Ghost kill number 2, okay. Yeah, let's nip that in the bud now.
Ion with the wide step maneuver. You know, almost walked away with murder, finding multiple kills just with that ghost there. But yeah, I mean, I think that was an excellent round being played by C2 Zord. Obviously, the Recon Bolt comes out perfect timing. We get to see that singular kill onto Kainzera after kind of everything was said and done. But what's important here is that it buys enough time, draws the attention over so that that flank can get online. Like, all of the different little chess pieces on the side of Stelle feel like they're moving so accurately based off of what each other are doing. And you know what? We haven't seen this team on this map in such a long time. I think the last time that they've got it on record is in stage 1. And so, you know, they're kind of cooking right now. And it's honestly looking really good. That's now 4 rounds in a row. Envy, if they want to start to turn this one back, then they got to make this round happen.
Love watching SW's Astra on this map in particular so far. I think his timing has been incredible. And these days, it's just so much harder to clamp everything together against the tempo that these guys are boasting. Dsora has great pressure. We'll have to counter Paranoia for Paranoia just for spacing. And again, the Nebula is set up so Envy feels so slowed down. They don't know how much of a stack is here. And yeah, that slow orb from Kainzera is going to at least help them get set up. Zanatsu dares to swing it, and Ion is prepared for it. That is the stick that Envy is looking for. They got on, and they were ready. They'll clear the board. And this is the other notion of this game that we expected. It's going to be drip or drown for both sides. You're going to see everyone standing or no one.
It really is, and like that was just such a classic Envy round that we really expect them. You know, they just kind of pop out all at their individual angles. They're gonna just try and find the kills, and then somehow they walk away with like a multi-kill right off the bat. I think that time it was Exeter, but you know, this is what they've been trying to get online in some of those previous rounds, except they've just kind of gotten the door slammed shut on their face when they've tried to walk in onto that site. But that time around, they find the opening, they're able to push Dsora back, and then based off of that, they claim the space for free, and you know, they're able to finally win out a round. As it does look like, unfortunately, we've got a little bit of a tech pause on stage.
Unfortunate, but I feel like we've been quite lucky thus far, actually. So if anything, it feels like we've got to get some yapping out of the way. Just drain the tank. I think the big thing you've got to focus on for Envy's execute right now is Exeter. It feels like he's been the most consistent part of things, and Envy are getting to a point where they're using the smokes and paranoias to sort of just clear the stage for Exeter to get free space on the site, and then he can just start popping off. He's been already flashing himself in like crazy since like mid stage 2. The confidence has just been exponential. And then in this tournament in particular, I don't know what he's got in him, but just the solo prowess that he's been able to manage simply on site. I mean, so much of Poppin's work has been done for him when it comes to gaining intel just off of his body. The one thing I actually haven't noticed from Exeter is the thing that I've noticed the entire year up until this point, which is his decoy game. I think that he hasn't had enough time in the fights that Envy's been forced to actually let those get too much value. It's more just been the blind sides and just the step-ins and him being better at fighting. Yeah. But that's part of the role that he's adapted to on this, you know, new position that the Yoru's taken. And also you see, obviously, Kane kind of switching up his secondary DPS role as a result of that, trying to go for more of a damage game in the macro a lot of times. But it's made Exeter look so much more fun in the long run, and a lot more dangerous for these openings if Stellai gets cleared out, which by the looks of it, Envy have a formula to do so. A couple ways to do it, in fact. Kane's Era has clearly been willing to throw down that barrier orb to grab an off angle at you anytime.
Yeah. It's, once again, it's so funny seeing Kane's Arrow on the stage right now. Love the Exeter highlight there, because I do think that Exeter, like, has been extremely consistent. And Kane's Arrow, at first, was the kind of really consistent, just top of the stats, top of the leaderboard player in Challengers NA. Except lately, it's kind of gone down a little bit more, and obviously there are a number of factors. Kane's Era, one of the youngest players on the roster, coming to the international stage here, being in the crowd that the enemy is just rooting against you really hard. There's a whole bunch of factors that can kind of pull this across. And so, honestly, when I saw the compositional swap up here, to me, I wonder if this is more of just a confidence booster type of game to allow Envy to really feel like that they are back in control and to gain some of that confidence back. Because if Kanezera can start hitting a lot of those shots more often, then I think that the reliability of Exeter, complemented by that just indescribable gameplay that we've seen from Kanezera, can really help Envy win. But they still need to win against Stelle, which, to be fair, they've had the tape from yesterday to review against them. They saw TSM disassemble Envy on this map, so they've got a couple of ideas. It's really whether or not they can execute on it.
Really channeling the fan base for your Envy critiques right now. Just hit your shots, Kappa.
Well, okay. I guess you can summarize it like that.
No, it's okay. You're smarter than that. You're better than that. Zord is going to let that Hunter's Fury go as they hear the spike go down. Inspire on one of his classic adventures. How much does he get? That's one down. So now the break back in for Stellai is clean. But they don't have a flank. So waiting for Zenatsu to re-up. Yeah, they'll give him the rifle. See if they can try and break even on both of these prongs. Paranoia for the wide art. Now you've got to watch the bridge. Stellai managing very well. And Tisora just running it down. Good lord. Smoke on the spike to start getting some pressure in Stellai. They will duke it out. Tisora running back onto it. The spray through is good just in time, but Zenatsu given the stage to clear it away. Is there enough time for this? Nope. Envy has stalled enough. Partially the barrier, partially the gunplay, partially just a little bit of moving around. I'll make it work.
Yeah, just down to the last wire there too. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm still really liking these retakes coming through from Stella Gaming. I mean, once again, I think Tisora is just putting on a masterclass of when to use utility and when to just kind of bait things out in order to allow the rest of the team to go through and frag. Tisora and Zenatsu, they're playing excellently off at the end there. Zenatsu is able to sweep up those last two kills, but it was just the stall game from Envy. By the time Stella wanted to actually move in on there, too much time had elapsed. And so that was really the big problem for that retake to kind of fly through. So good job on Envy's end to make sure that works. And of course, they will have all the weaponry available, and they do have a couple ultimates as well.
Yeah, and Exeter started getting a little more confident too. He's gonna just try and farm this dimensional drift back up so they can take that A site with ease again. Zenatsu is going to flank a little quicker than normal in order to try to negate that with this hero rifle, and he's already started to make the space, and so Envy will crunch up towards the link a little heavier with this barrier orb. They have a tiny bit of help, but that high ground that he takes clamps this back down, and Zenatsu is still raid bossing his way through this ski, given the angle after Poppin forced to take that fight. And one will stay standing for Stellai's retake. As you pointed out, it's looked marvelous this whole way through, and it'll finally let that round sift through on the save, no less.
Man, whoever is calling right now on Stelle, I don't know if that was necessarily Zenatsu's decision or if that was kind of like the bigger comms, but to use the convergent paths just on the back of the site there to force all of the Envy players out towards the crunch side. And that just allowed the Stelle retake to perfectly clamp in on them. I mean, once again, I was like, okay, convergent paths over there. You can see all of the crosshairs looking on that side. That's going to be interesting because there's not going to be anybody there. But that really just funneled everybody from Envy into the little narrow pathway, upon which then a lot of the utility and a lot of the watching, honestly, from the Stelle side can really just come through. But Zenatsu, of course, cleaning things up, really making a statement, honestly, with how that round went. So honestly, an excellent thrifty round coming in from Stelle.
Amazing work finding the purchase quickly and understanding which ways Envy is going to approach, because they're going to W key somewhere. You just got to figure out where it is. Stellai, if they're able to, again, just win that foot race, that is so much of what won TSM, their maps against Envy. Just understanding the push and being there to meet it with enough firepower to make it not feel like too much of a heavy blow on the site. And from there, again, it feels like so much of a blowover. Zenatsu was so certain that he was going to be able to keep moving, and he did. And then he had that backline stab across the barrier. It just all feels so understood. And I think that was the one fear that a lot of us had for Stella. Would they be able to hold that candle consistently? And so far, so great on this defense.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, Zenatsu highlighted such a good duelist, such good game understanding, understands what to do. I've seen Zenatsu play very disciplined, waiting for the calls, playing off the utility, and then I've seen Zenatsu just kind of send it 1vx and just completely win things out. So definitely one of the larger duelists here, as it's going to be SW holding it back, at least able to get one on the way down.
They knew they were going to be pushing that cliff. SW would have liked to grab a second with that spray, but again, Envy crunched the threat quickly. And that Cosmic Divide is going to give him a lot of time to work with. Zord playing with fire here, as that smoke does protect the long ways, but there's no proper peek, so it's just to let Stellai get the rest of the way over. Oh, Tisora's found Exter poking his head out of the sand! And that's the go button for them to fully move in. Everyone else on Envy is over on mid. They have a lot of stall tools, the Gravity Wells obviously, and the Hunter's Fury as well. And these ultimates from Envy have been seismic this entire tournament. Poppin's Hunter's Furies just feel impossible to stop, but nobody is watching the spike! Tisora just held it! And still I escape with the round! Oh, that's gonna be a tough one to live down.
Like a thief in the night. They just kind of just grouped up there. They're like, hold on a second. Not a soul is home right now. We know that they've got that ultimate. We know that they've got utility. But even then, you could see, like, with the well being set up, like, they were running a body block to make sure that the defuse could just keep on happening. Of course, the Hunter's Fury able to find purchase into at least one of the members there. But honestly, these retakes from Stella Gaming, they've looked phenomenal there. And I think that might have been the reason why Envy were just like, all right, we'll just back off and play one of those rounds where we just, lay on the utility, just kind of play back. And Stella, like, they just more or less got the defuse away for free. So that is a bit of a tilted around. And at this point, like, you really have to rely onto the experience of those Envy players who have been on the stage before, who are kind of familiar with this, to kind of keep those heads cool.
Yeah, got to get that mental reset in. It was another big thing that people were talking about across Envy's year. Emotions, as we know, run so high with these guys. That mental is something that needs to be reeled in this year if they want to play at that top level. Beautiful breakout from Envy thus far. You got guys everywhere. The double TP in is beautiful, but Extra is eventually stopped, and Ion just a tad bit alone on top of the default plant. So Envy gonna start trying to take these hyper-idealized angles. Kane on another barrier from the outskirts of main. Such a strange approach that Stellai just trying to dance around as long as they can here until SW gets another flank. That's another connection. Just so many variables that are getting thrown in the face. Envy stick in the smoke, and it's 2-4-0 inside the backline. Those tiny crunches, those Minutemen moments make everything for Envy possible. And they will keep two standing for their third round.
Wow, and that was so smart. Like, the paranoia has really been the big thing that has been testing Envy. Every single time the paranoia comes out from Tisora, it's looking so good from the follow-up from Stellai to just walk in and clean house, right? Like, that is always the first piece of utility that flies out when they want to go for that retake. Hey, let's just hang inside of the smoke. They gotta walk into the smoke. We've got close range weaponry. This is gonna be fantastic, and it worked out perfectly. And honestly, you could tell that Stellai, they had an idea that that was going to happen, but still, in that close quarters, you got a stinger. It's not going to go your way. So, Envy, they find their third round on the board. This is going to be now a save from Stellai. Already Zenatsu pushing really far down, but look at all of the support that duelist has.
So much help, and Ion might get timinged. Watches it, but doesn't swing it. And that two-stack grants Stellai all that space, but Envy, as always, they'll react quickly to it and just try to monopolize the rest of the map. Mid's already taken over, so you can maybe sell Inspire's positioning here from here on out. Get a lot of potential checkpoints that Stellai have to clear out, and then they can't util dump this properly onto the site. That's a little awkward. Extra sprayed away, get the healing orb nice and early before Stellai turn tail and play for phase 2, which is from this back hall once again. Extra being forced to fight that one, and Zord grabs a dink with that Sheriff before all is said and done. Finally, this spike will go down, I say, with 45 seconds on the clock. That's just how Envy does it. And we got 2 on the flank this time, Marks.
Yeah, Kane thinking about the resurrect, but okay, is it going to be able to find this timing here? Now just going to be waiting things out. As soon as the barrier orb goes down, going to be ready to shoot them down.
Kane watching, ready for SW's turn as well. Good timing, understanding. Tisora able to catch Poppin on the run back, and that just leaves Kane. Now all the multitasking falls on him, and again, so much to manage, so much bulk to sift through, and Tisora yet again on the front lines, putting up numbers. Stellai up 7-3.
That's a second thrifty round from Stella. The only times that they've been put down like that, they always win it out somehow. And once again, it just comes down to the pressure. It feels like even in these small moments, they know exactly what they're doing. Obviously, that first kill looking nice and easy, but just the management of resources to make sure that KaneZera can't comfortably go for that resurrect. And you can see that it's so awkward because while Kane is kind of being caught up dealing with what's going on over there, the rest of Stella were moving around, working together to be able to dismantle what was happening on site. And then at that point, like, it's a little bit too late. As soon as the kills come through, they all swarm in, and KaneZera has the world up against him. So an excellent round from Stella. Envy, they're back onto a little bit of a scattered buy here. 2 more rounds left in this half, but Tisora starts us off again with 2.
And drops off the paranoia just in time for SW to meet it, but still Tisora down after the rest of the spray comes through. Next checkpoint established, and Inspire the only one with a proper gun. This will be a mowdown on the B site, folks. The one time you'll see Stellai take those risks with such close angles. Oh, Zanatsu's hungry. Hell yeah, brother. So this is about the defense we expected from Stellai once they got themselves going. Those reads understood, and they've been quick to meet this. I think the Waylay pick from Zanatsu is a very smart option as well, just to always have that passive threat of somebody lurking at any moment during the round. You don't really get that with too many other agents on this map.
Oh my goodness me. Like, the replays are just kind of crazy
gorgeous
here. And once again, just the level of communication that's kind of coming out. As soon as the paranoia is there, you see Zanatsu just swing out with the Outlaw, so ready to cover anybody who is going to be trying to find an easy kill onto SW. Like, it just feels so coordinated and rehearsed. I'm so impressed right now by Stella Gaming. Obviously coming in here as Brazil's #1 seed. SW going down in the early round there. But when it comes down to that level of teamwork right now, Stella Gaming almost look unstoppable.
One more round to seal this half away. Just try and play preventative as long as they can. Nothing meeting them this time on the B side after the early fight in mid. Deals with SW, so no divide to re-enter with. You have 2 other ults though. Tisora ready at a moment's notice to go for this backstab. Envy! Woo! Wow, everyone met. And Egster continuing to just play off of himself, not need any of the help that his team was more than willing to provide. Zanatsu has to be obvious at some stage, and that's a great way to start. Lightspeed into the first frag. KaneZera manages after the extension into the open field, and it will be a 4th on the board for this attacking side from North America.
And I'm just going to say, like, if you're Envy looking at what is the key to success here, it really is just playing together, not giving up those individual opportunities, but playing that coordinated game. That time around, we see what happens when they go for a similar play that Stella like to do. You know, instead of just kind of popping out, work with the rest of your squad, take that space, and then just work off of those flashes. Like, this is textbook what was looking great from Envy. And you know what? If they want to swing this map back in their favor, they got to start doing more of that.
Well, in the meantime, Stellai just a few rounds away from being able to take this first map. They've got the crowd cheering him on. We've got an interview on the floor with one of the best players in the region.
Estou aqui com a Luli, uma salva de palmas pra Luli, galera, por favor. Isso, I'm here with Luli, Game Changers player. Amiga, tá bonito de ver os caras aqui, hein? Como é que você tá vendo essa defesinha? Geralmente esse mapa a gente sabe que é mais ataque, mas os meninos estão encaixando o jogo na defesa, viramos na frente.
Cara, eu tô muito feliz que a Stellai acordou finalmente. Aquele jogo da TSM não existiu e finalmente vamos dar um espanco assim nos gringos, mandar eles pra casa, né? Algo assim bem tranquilo.
Bem tranquilo. Bom, I asked her what you think about the game. There's a really good game for Stellai so far. She said the TSM loss for Stellai didn't happen. They finally wake up and they're showing what they're really good for. Placar final.
2-0, 13-8.
13-8, 2-0, STE. Muito obrigado, amiga. De volta pra vocês, bora pra esse jogo.
Well, Luli has spoken. She thinks STE is able to carry this out. Of course, so much of Brazil having such confidence in STE after they were able to tear through Brazil's best so well across this year. And it feels like, Marks, they can continue to fight against this NV team that has also been turning heads since the end of last year.
Yeah. TBT to when they were still called rankers. And honestly, you could just tell like the individual talent on this roster was going to be something else, something to keep your eye on. And honestly, they've met and exceeded expectations all throughout challengers. But once again, it all comes down to the pressure cooker right now. Will diamonds be made? Well, first they got to win out this series to secure their spot in playoffs. And right now, 8-4. Both these teams tend to be a little bit better on this defense here. But let's see what Envy have cooked up for us as STE. They look to, once again, get their map pick here.
Of course, a lot of eyes on Kane Zera. How well is he going to be able to play that individuality on this Pocket Sage pick that so many other players have been workshopping, and Kane has just kind of picked. I really am curious how much labbing he's done with this, bro. I guess we'll find out, won't we?
A lot of space being taken by mid, but Zanatsu spots out Ion, immediately hits that recall, and will at least yield that space. So this is very classic STE gaming. They like to just kind of take their time, get the information, but then when they do decide to kind of pop onto that site, it's going to be extremely quick. The question is just where are they going to go and how much are they going to get before that actually happens?
Feels like they want to try and muffle as much of the noise as possible here. The double controller that Envy has, as you already saw, they already, drained that first smoke Ion had set up because he didn't have that step. Feels like I'm just trying to make this as clean as possible. Same way that Envy did to set the stage for Eggster's entries in the first bit of regulation. On the other side, Isora, yet again, frontline, Eggster, just holding it from heaven and not fully traded out before he gets out.
Well, Spike will be able to go down. I'm actually looking at Zidazor's this position here. Might be able to spot somebody out, but it looks like Inspire might be aware.
Tough timing, so it's got to be on the front lines, and Key holding it down from the library until Eggster yet again plays spoiler. SW trades it in Inspire, stepping back into it. 1v2 with Zidazorch has made it back to this spike, which is open for him. He does not have any shock darts, though, so he's got to go for the peaks. Inspire on just that lowly 13 health, and he'll be the first to poke into it. But on top of the recon dart, the timing is met. Still not shot away, and Inspire immediately heading to the cliff to get that off angle. The second spike is tapped. Zidazorch prepared for it, but has to spray through the smoke on the Ghost. Ion sticking it out of bullets, and on half HP, Ion will hold it down and give Envy their fifth.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Great idea from Envy there. Just at the end, like, okay, well, we know, Inspire very low HP, so just kind of like send your life, stall things out just for a second, especially because it is that pistol round. Give just enough time so that defuse can kind of come through, and obviously it does there. So Envy picking up that pistol round, which I think is super important for them to start to mount their comeback here. An excellent just Overwatch being played by Eggster, just watching that long angle, being able to find that first pick. And honestly, Eggy's been looking clean so far on this map.
Yeah. The other thing is obviously nerves have been such a big part of this tournament so far. Is it's taken a couple rounds for players to get warm, even now that they've already played matches on the stage. I can only assume these teams will continue to get better. These players will continue to get more locked in. STE, another unorthodox extension through mid here now on the save, and Poppin will meet the first stack. Nice spray to pad some stats.
Yeah, it'll be looking good. And honestly, like, Poppin has been a player that obviously is calling for Envy, but I think has just been doing such a good job with utility as well.
Every frontline met here. Seems like STE were just kind of searching for ghosts that round, seeing how many guns they could get away with dropping, but won't lose a thing. And that's, yeah, a terrific doorstop set up by Envy to start things out. Feels like they have a lot of tools to slow down the tempo of STE, which it feels like STE are already kind of slowing themselves down to see if they can psych out Envy to an extent. So Envy can start weaponizing that. The clock might become their ally going forward in this half.
Yeah, and obviously, I think that kind of came down to a little bit of unconventional pushing coming through from STE Gaming. You know, not often you see people push all the way back there on your just a pistol round, but see how this one plays out. They've got full weaponry ready to go. Should be Kane Zera immediately on that wall trying to look for a cheeky little pick, but not able to find anything out. So we'll just remain in a stalemate for the time being, as this kind of like triple stack that we expect to see from STE continues to move forwards. You know that this is 100% just trying to set up Zenatsu to go explosive in there and then have the appropriate follow-up.
Yeah, Sora, the TP is telegraphed, and Zenatsu
Look at that.
able to cover it, so KaneZera is punished. And Poppin can't cover fire. That's such a tough first blood that STE are gonna get away with here. Of course, that bonus round, gonna try and take what you can get here if you are Envy. And they do have the read on the stack. They know STE has been trying to bluff these before, and they know that the clock is once again not serving them too well to move off of this with what little knowledge they have after that barrier, and KaneZera himself kind of prevented them from being able to get much of a good visage.
I like this position from Ion. Will be made near impossible. All the utility kind of flying out here, but still 30 seconds left on the clock, and Zeduzorch able to find one.
All the smokes used here by Inspire as well. They drain the tank just to play keep away.
Ooh.
Envy now, they'll use the bullets. Ion stepping out of the smoke and grabbing 3 with this Bulldog. That is a crazy way to turn this on its head, but SW has found his way into the back and no one's looking at him. 10 seconds to go. There may not be enough time for this, especially since SW has to check everything. No, he's got to go for the fight, and that's it. Poppin has clutched it up as Envy will steal away this bonus, take it to 7-8.
Yo, Tedric, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, Poppin clutched it up, but there was a real world there where that triple kill came through. You see immediately, Poppin gets spotted out, walking into the smoke, walking off a site, and just a little bit of whippage guarantees that Poppin stays alive. But if that kill came through, that would have been a STE gaming round. SW, alive in the backline, imposter among us, is able to walk away with almost winning out that round. But now Envy, just 1 round down, 3 in a row. And they're looking like they're firing on all cylinders. STE, meanwhile, back down to the Sheriffs, looking for something to happen here, but you can definitely tell this is looking a lot weaker on their attacking half.
Yeah, morale's got to go back their way, and soon. Envy can grab the steering wheel here. It'll be curtains before they know it on STE's own pick that they've had in his pocket up until this point in the tournament. There's KaneZera starting to walk down. Hey, you start enabling him, it's already over. Ion feeling himself. And that's it, another instant stopper. Again, it's what we expected from both of these sides. Completely sink or swim. Utter dominance one way or the other. These eco rounds, yeah, Envy doesn't want to let STE get a word in edgewise, because otherwise last round's gonna happen. So we're tied up now at 8. Envy has already closed the gap way faster than STE opened it.
Yeah, it's now 4 rounds in a row. And let's see kind of like what they're doing. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, you can see that there's an idea from Zeduzorch on how STE want to be able to call this game, how they want to be pushing things up, but it's just a little bit discombobulated. And then at this point, like, we talk about the individual prowess from a lot of these Envy players. You know, they're just finding that timing to just kind of W key in, walk forwards a little bit, find somebody off guard, and then be able to walk away with the multi-kill. Something that on the defensive half, it consistently looked like STE were doing a fantastic job of shutting those opportunities down. But we haven't really seen any of those traps get set up. And just because you see KaneZera on one side of the map does not mean that you're going to get away for free on any of the other lanes.
So much of the opening relies on T-Sora sort of multitasking between being a person who gets the pick off first because you're relying on SW to set up smokes, but you're also relying on T-Sora to open up Zenatsu with his paranoia. And you can only open up so much of a channel with a set like that. If Envy is able to skirt the main bit of damage there, it feels like a bit of a drop in the bucket at the moment. It feels like STE found a lot more freedom and mobility in being able to let either Zenatsu or SW go for flanks, or go for the pickoffs in mid, or have Zeduzorch kind of hang around in mid. It feels like STE doesn't feel like they can afford to take those longer term risks, because if Envy set up the proper trap, then the round's over even sooner. So it feels like STE is gonna try and go for reward over risk, at least maybe up until now, because we've got another mid fight going and the spike indecisive.
Okay, Eggster. Operator in hand, KaneZera as well with an outlaw. Can do damage to SW, but the rest of them will be able to survive at least 1 bullet. Inspire going for a little bit more of a cheekier position in mid here. The smoke goes down though. Zenatsu would be able to get anything. It's a very patient right now for STE. I think that they're just kind of you know, waiting for that aggression and then getting ready to kind of like pounce on it. And honestly, I don't think that Envy are really going to give them what they want.
No, they will not buckle, not at this stage.
You are divided!
So it'll be Stella that has to say the first word, and it'll be the Cosmic Divide. Paranoia immediately into the channel, and Ion gonna play into his own smoke on top. Extra trying to support, but Guy shuts that down quickly. Now it's just one standing on that site, isolated by that Cosmic Divide, and so Ion, yeah, he knows he has to take initiative. He will die next. 5v3 on the pre-plant, and it was another big decision made by Envy that might set up the rest of this round before it even really begins. Stella setting up shop on the site more than not, and they'll be able to lock down their angles because of it. Poppin from the back, gets away with 2. That's as far as he gets, and Stellai will retake the lead.
I know Poppin goes down there, but that was a crazy flick.
Yeah.
Just going across, oh, little headshot, why don't I? Man, if only I could shoot like that. But honestly, I think that this came down to just a better understanding of what is going on from Stella Gaming. You see immediately the Cosmic Divide comes down, and then the Paranoia comes through, but nobody from Stella Gaming is there. It's like they knew exactly what utility was going to get utilized, so they just completely sidestep it, and then just allows Zenatsu to go into the back line and then find all of that space to add so many question marks to Envy's defense. That is a really good round of just reading what Envy's strategy might be and then playing counter to that. So a great called round from Stella Gaming.
So Envy now trying to stick their flag somewhere else. Kane's-Era gonna recondition the barrier with the help of a recon dart too. So Stella very much aware of how willing Kane is to stick to this. Been dangerous, but countered before. I'll pop in off of the recon is gonna be able to catch Guy with his Hunter's Fury, but he can't chase him down. It lands nothing. And Stella can keep on window shopping with a minute to go.
And yeah, this is something that we've seen Stella do against other opponents as well. You know, just kind of play things a little bit more calm, find a single pick, and you have more than enough time to make your decision as to where you want to go. They're going to be pushing towards this A site. Kane's-Era the only person here, and so this is a real opportunity for Stella to get a nice and comfortable plant, especially with the convergent paths online.
Yeah, can't avoid that, but Ion can. He'll just TP into it. Kane's-Era! In slow-mo gets the first frag, and Ion now into support. And it's those moments that make Envy who they are. Now they've got to fight it out, though, and inside a tough channel, it's re-domed by Stellai. Huge recon from Poppin to gain the intel back as he re-enters before Extra can make it back to perhaps gain this advantage, but he simply can't find the lineups, and already it seems like they've got his number on Heaven here. Extra re-entering with the Dimensional Drift to sew that chaos back again. Poppin just trying to step into it. Extra has to recover inside the Dimensional Drift. Outside with the Vandal, but caught by Sinuzord's shock dart to prevent one more angle from being caught. And brother, the way Egg is working, he might have caught it. Stellai get to double digits.
Eggster almost wins that one back, and you can see Sinuzord's just like, I'm just gonna use the shock bolt. We're gonna walk away from this one, and everything is gonna be nice. Yeah, something about Kane's-Era also finding that while slowed down, and then immediately Ion is ready to swing back around to support that. Worked out well, but once again, the push from Stella Gaming just a little bit too strong. I have to say though, I am really liking what both of these Sovas are doing when it comes to that A side, especially on denying things going through. It feels like every single time the recon bolt is so well timed out to enable just a couple of kills when the chaos is kind of breaking down. Obviously, we highlighted Sinuzord doing that a lot on the defense, but on the other side, like Poppin has found amazing timings, and with how well Poppin has also been shooting, like Envy are doing a really good job at playing counter to a lot of what Stella have planned.
It's true, yeah. Poppin has long been one of the best intel gatherers in North America, and he's been able to play off of himself so quickly and so exceedingly well. But unfortunately, the Hunter's Fury that round was very early, very proactive, attempted to find, you know, like a bumblebee in an open field. It's like, I get you're him, but like, you're not Thanos with that ultimate, man. Not this time.
I wonder if that was just...
It could have cleared the board too. I mean, it feels like you could have used that a little later.
I wonder if that was just like a confidence call, like, oh yeah, for sure they're all grouped up on mid again. We know how this one plays out. And then nobody was there because Stella, once again, like, they've completely swapped their styles. They know that this is kind of how they can play counter to Envy. If they just kind of set up some of these traps, wait for Envy to feel uncomfortable, find that opening pick, and then they can kind of walk in onto the site a little bit stronger. So looks like we're going to be seeing a lot more of these slow rounds coming through for us here. as a Inspire, only person with a Stinger. Weaponry from Envy is still looking good, but there are a couple of ultimates on the side of STE Gaming. Zorch as well, having that Hunter's Fury. A pretty good tool to clear things out if they know where they want to end up.
Good assessment by STE. Post timeout, just seeing if Envy gets antsy. And they'll insert Gi. Not too many mid hurdles that STE has worked with so far this half. And a lot of the time it's because Envy can just avoid a lot of it. And Poppin is already here, in fact, to respond to the push. Zanatsu caught as he pushes in, so yet again, it's got to be Tisora that takes that first step forward. And he's protected by a sandwich of smokes for now, but guess who is lurking on that site?
Ooh.
The opener, the show builder. He holding from the window, Exter, there he is! It was only a matter of time. Now back on Siduzor, dink! That operator rings true, and it'll get STE back on site. Poppin catching a cape, but no bullet. And so it's gonna be the setup post plant yet again! That watchdog keeps holding it down! An Inspire, it's gonna be tough for him to even grab a rifle, let alone condense this as the spike ticks away. But there's too few rounds to gather yourself in any other moment. It's gotta be here and now. Inspire already to the first fight, meets it as he walks into Siduzor. Plenty of time and the smoke to work with. Does he do it again? No, he'll tap it and exit. Gi catches for the third time! And STE are up to 11.
Wow. I was going to say, like, the fact that Exter goes completely unchecked in that smoke and is able to find a double backstab should have more or less secured the round for Envy. Catching two of the STE Gaming players looking the wrong way made it just so much easier for that to kind of come through. But then once again, I just got to say, when it comes to the individual gunplay, swinging off of each other, playing together, like, they just look so well coordinated watching these angles. Gi as well, just really just winning that round, personally speaking, for STE Gaming there. Just playing off of the information of his teammates going down in the middle of all of that. It just is such great timing coming through from the STE Gaming players that allows them to find those timings and to gun Envy down. Something that Envy should not be losing. They need to win those gunfights because that's how their players thrive.
Yeah, just set up the battlefield. It's where Envy has always thrived. It's what Stunner has been trying to help them do and facilitate this entire year. Just takes being able to control this site. And again, Poppin has been quick to it. He's been understanding of when STE are going to pull that trigger, despite how slow and safe they've been thus far.
Still patient.
Hanging out again.
Yeah, still patient from STE on their attack here. And looks like, once again, they're pretty confident about engaging onto the speed site, though. They will be walking into Exter and Kane.
Zanatsu, just for the step up, it's yet again Tisora in first. And with the spike in hand, quite alone for the moment. The Saturate opens things up, and Tisora will win the duel against Exter. That's the site taken. And just losing one along the way. With Zanatsu gone, it's STE that sets up shop. Now, Cosmic Divide split from spawn, so STE have to make that crucial call. And in the midst of it, Kane Zera has stepped in with the Stinger, and it started taking the space so blasphemously. Envy just walk it down, play their way, and dominate the Cosmic Divide, setting their stage so easily to the point where SW GTFOs before the spike is even half. That's the certainty that Envy are looking for, and sure, takes an Astra ulti, but it also takes the confidence of those young guns.
Yeah, once again, great job. Just, hey, you know, they love swinging out from over there. Let's just cut off all those sight lines for a second. And the flood through is so quick and decisive coming through from Envy. As soon as we see the Paranoia walk in, all the players just march forwards. And then this is kind of like the frag power that we expect from Envy. And they're able to win out all their individual gunfights and make it nice and clean, finding their 9th round. STE Gaming, the buy isn't fantastic coming into this one. They do have a couple of ultimates online, but it's nothing really to write home about. So this is looking like it should be an Envy round, but I say that at the same time, STE Gaming have been looking pretty good on the Thrifties with how this map has been going.
Just takes that one little butterfly, float in the other direction, that rock being kicked 1,000 miles away, and popping an Inspire will hold true. SW catching on mid again. That's been the most consistent part here. And Stellai has made their way in. Cedazord walking it down. Now Inspire policing. Tisora, yet again, has to follow up, has to save face, has to clean up. And with the help of SW Smokes, they have the time to do that. Do they have a way to cycle? 2 stars left to go, and Tisora is able to cycle as well. But SW might be tempted to play forward with the double crunch up in the back. And Envy having a lot of tools to re-enter. Double flash for Eggster to play off of himself as well. The gravity well early. Ion TPing into his own smoke on the high ground. Surely Stellai is keen to it. They are, but Eggster has been revealed, and that's the crunch that Envy needs. One way to give Kainzera an easy view, but SW counters that. Spike tap, Ion pokes his head out. Eggster given away. SW in the duel, but Eggster manages with that shorty in hand. Scripts, scrapes, but it's 11-10.
Oh my goodness me, there was a real world there where if we see SW decide to backstep instead of go into the smoke, the shorty would not have been able to get enough value to be able to win that one out. Very close down to the end there. SW just playing a really good job at understanding what the enemy is doing and making sure that he was ready, honestly, to kind of play counter, kind of play spoiler to it. But Envy, once again, just flying in together, and the spray downs at the start, like, they know what they're doing, and we're seeing a lot of that confidence really start to pick up here, which is going to be, honestly, the big win condition if they want to close out this map. They are making a statement right now. Even though it's looking a little bit closer, they need that confidence to continue to build, and that way they can make sure that they're going to be feeling nice and comfortable to roll things forwards.
Continuing to silence this Brazilian crowd the second they feel mobilized. This late in the game, you know everyone in that studio is on the edge of their seat and cheering heavy against these defensive dogs that seem to have a couple more tools in the kit. And again, I have to speak to how much value Envy has been able to extrapolate out of the ultimates for round upon round upon round. Not just for the Dimensional Drift and Hunter's Fury combos that we've seen across this entire year that Poppin and Eggster can recycle until their demise, but even just the ways that Inspire has been using these Cosmic Divides, in particular. I mean, like, just the way, even Ion, those threats with the TPs have always been so consistent. He's been going for these backstabs. He's been going for these, double long-winded approaches with Eggster all the way into CT spawn. Like, Envy will go the distance. They will go from 0 to 100 at any given moment. And Stellai, they're continuously trying to prepare for that 100 to come in at any given moment. It's such a tough balance. And also, it's just the way Envy plays, it like fundamentally hijacks the pacing of the game. Like, you have to sort of bend to Envy's rules to a degree and just play their way better than them.
Yeah, and I mean, yes and no, right? Because I do think that Stellai have been getting a little bit more value when they kind of set up those traps for Envy to kind of push into, given the aggression that they go through. And it's really looking for those little opportunities that you can kind of catch somebody going for an ego peek out there. But the big difference between the first and the second half was that Envy didn't feel like they were hitting their shots. And nowadays, it really feels like they can just kind of go in there and find these opportunities, kind of snake their way through what's going on and find nice, simple, easy kills. And that just is so much more difficult right now for Stellai to kind of handle with. It's going to be a change up this time, though. They're going towards A instead of B. And they do have weaponry here, as well as a couple of really key ultimates. I wonder if this is going to be another Cosmic Divide round to kind of secure that site.
Zenatsu feeling pretty free in this backstab. Sidu gonna just clear the board with the Hunter's Fury, get a couple ticks, and Stellai can finish the crowd pretty easily. That's beautifully done on the drop by Tisora. Good God. Eggster is back in and pokes at Zenatsu, so Stellai can't overextend. Now they have this Heaven presence, but they still gotta wait for Ion to get back, right? No, Poppin gets a kill before the Cosmic Divide goes down, so it's 3v3.
This should buy just enough time here, but actually Dimensional Drift from Eggster, they want to accelerate.
Yeah, just stamp it up the moment that Stellai think they can disperse, and now Tisora gonna use that ultimate just to poke back into main, and that is awkward. Did he mean to cancel that? Or did he just get poked through? Either way. Envy have now 3 on top of the divide, on top of the smoke. Eggster just on top of himself. That's 3 now for the Yoru, and he wants the 4th as well. He will get it. Make a wish, people. We're at 11 all.
Wow, crazy plays kind of coming through from Envy, specifically from Exeter there. Really impressed with, you know, how he's working the site, how he wants to play things around. I was going to say this should be a good opportunity to allow STE to really reset there. I love their initiation in onto the site, making sure they've got people in all corners of the site, so the Envy players on the actual site have to look left, right, and center. But honestly, like, it's just the awareness of what's kind of going on from Exeter, not afraid to take those duels, not afraid to take those challenges, and the rest of Envy playing a great job at backing him up. I think that's been a really important factor to allow that Yoru to go for those confidence skills, and even if Exeter goes down, somebody will be there to trade him.
Power of friendship has been what has gotten these teams over the line, despite that individual play being so much more resounding. So who gets that pivot into game point here on Still Eye's map pick? Continuing to play slow, continuing to play with these opening resources. Inspire has not done this all game. Gotten in front of his own smoke on A main and will now hold the anchor. The rest of Envy, they'll just go for the B lane. Without the audio, no reason not to just send it unless Inspire gets this sign. Their A retake game is confident enough at this point.
Yeah, and this is just a great read. I mean, once again, STE Gaming, they want to go in here. It's going to be really tough for them now.
Setting up the stars, SW wants to create a hellscape on that link. And with Heaven managed on the sightlines, it's all about just that front line, and Exeter continuing to just hold it down. Ion on his own smoke, he'll just continue peeking out till the sun goes down, and he'll get every kill in the book for it. Now, popping back as well to help facilitate, and yeah, the stack absolutely destroys. They were there, they were ready, and everyone was unstoppable.
Yeah, it was just so clean coming through from Envy on that one. I mean, Ion has been a constant thorn in the side of STE whenever they want to move in on that site, right? Like every single time we see, they're like, all right, let's go in there. Ion's able to walk away with at minimum one person and has just been playing so expertly around the smokes. I mean, dips back in, completely catching SW by surprise from up top, and then can just dip right back out, ready to sweep up the rest of those kills there. So honestly, Ion on this B site has been immaculate for the defense on Envy.
One more round to get Envy over the line here on their defensive half that they retook. Another proactive Hunter's Fury popping, thinking he's found something. But that early A approach not touched by STE. They've skirted it just enough, and now they'll drone it to re-aggress instantly to make sure no one plants themselves there. It does drain the bank a little bit, but Envy will not gain any ground.
It's again a nice and patient play from STE Gaming as Ion actually moves up pretty far forwards there. So that should give the information as what they want to do. We're seeing the pings on the minimap. Looks like A site is going to be the spot. I think the big piece right now is if they can deal with Poppin early, because Poppin has been so effective at slowing them down on the site.
Convergent paths. Inspire could stall with the gravity well, so it's got to be Zenatsu that acts for a couple crucial seconds here as SW holds the spike down, and Zenatsu gets the first frag as Kane walks out of that, and Sidu with the trade and the positioning. That's a tremendous simple trap that gets STE over the line. Now it's about holding it. Envy back. Exeter and Ion have made the long trip and met their second smoker comrade. But look who else is backstabbing. It's our friend Guy, who's been that watchdog. Inspire turns to it, and now they can bum rush. Ion chipped away at. Siduzor finishes it off. Zenatsu holding the back, and it's down to Exeter. Cannot complete. We will go to overtime here in map 1.
Yeah, wouldn't have this any either way. One of these teams getting eliminated, one of these teams qualify for playoffs there. And that time around, I have to say, I was really impressed. STE Gaming, they read Envy's defense so well on that A site. You know, just smoke up there, cut off the main source of where it was going, and you see Zenatsu just fly through here, able to find that first kill, and then Siduzord. I mean, the swinging off of one another once again has left me extremely impressed with how STE Gaming want to play this one. Honestly, at this point, 10 rec, it could go either way. Both of these teams are looking so sharp, but it will be really the first team that wins attack. I think they've got it in their favor.
Yeah, they can really run away with it. And so, of course, all eyes, as always, fall on Envy. What have we learned, kids, since that 8-4?
Let's hope
pretty similar 2-on-2 from STE on the defense here. I'm unsurprised by Siduzor getting aggro with this drone here to see if anybody gets super pokey or with an operator.
Yeah.
Sora, good frontliner. Exeter, that won't work this time, buddy. Still, Envy's got to get on one way or another. They don't feel as confident breaking out of these smokes, do they? Yeah, that Yoru flash is kind of huge for it. Inspire's just gonna walk it down. Timing on T-Sora! Are you kidding me?
Oh, no.
And he turns onto SW2! God, they just make the weirdest rounds work, don't they? And now Inspire gonna continue to get greedy. Just how inspired are you feeling? That's a third for him!
Oh boy.
Got a couple seconds, but Key's gotta make it happen. Ion's already ahead of this. Oh, the ricochet lets Key take the step out, but Ion has made it back out. And so Envy will win the very first attack round they get on OT. Can they take it here?
Oh man, I was gonna say, like, once again, the protocols from STE Gaming, I was like, yep, let's see it happen again, T-Sora. Yeah, let that paranoia loose. You're gonna find multiple kills, and he did find one, but it really was just this kind of walkthrough, and then the clearing of the house coming through from Envy, watching every single angle possible, and they're just so confident in going able to explore. I genuinely think that the Envy confidence has come online, and this is really bad for STE Gaming, because then suddenly a lot of these plays that can really only work for a team like Envy can come through, and they're gonna look clean every single time. STE Gaming now fighting to force OT again, otherwise they will be losing their map pick.
Massive implications for how Envy can swing the momentum from here. If they take it now, their sunset looked pretty damn good. Just burning that wall, lets Zenatsu walk in for free, and he does get a little confident. Kane knows what that feeling's like. T-Sora trades it out instantly. And we're back to neutrality in the 4v4.
And you say neutrality, but once again, Zenatsu going down.
Inspire
It's a huge
indeed.
piece kind of taken off. Like, that's a lot of that entry pressure, and so key to a lot of the site takes that we've seen from STE.
Fire found with the drone. He's gonna try and walk out of it, and STE catches him. Now Poppin alone, and he's gonna meet this early too. Recon's art doesn't catch him. Is he checked? Oh no, Poppin! No, Poppin!
Oh no!
That was everything, and then it was nothing! Did STE get another chance to bring this back? Will they let it go to waste? Ceduzor taking the high ground to keep this advantage. Nice and stable. Ion procced out with the Cypher ulti now that he has managed to get. And it's got to be the 1v3 that everyone expects Ion to come away with. This is what this kid is built for, but that 2-stack is just too strong. Too precious to STE, who will keep this game rumbling.
Oh man, the reaction on Poppin's face when that whiff kind of came through, like you said, could have sealed the nail on the coffin for that round. Could have just closed out the map here, but unfortunately just misses the bullets coming through and then just immediately shut down. Here we go again. Oh no, it's so terrible. And yeah, I mean, you can't see it in the camera that time, but I'm pretty sure he like got up and like hit his forehead with both of his hands. That has got to be a tilter and a half, but you got to keep your cool here, especially if you are IGLing Envy right now. Obviously, you know these players can kind of play out on their own, but still, you got to make sure you keep your head cool if you want to win out map 1.
Right back in the game, and you've got to go balls to the wall here. W key aggression, Envy trying to get the drop on STE, and it might just work. Zenatsu, the only one still on to try to stick this back, and Envy continuing to play slow once they get those smokes on site, and Exter just laying waste on the front line continuously. Gets that 3v2 again in an instant. And is that all the power Envy need to make this round theirs? Flank watch available as well. It seems everything is set up. That spiderweb has been strung to take Envy to game point. Numero 3. Dimensional drift again from this guy. He's just loaded. And again, earthquake-like ultimates. That gives away the position of both. And so you don't have the flank watch anymore. Inspire can turn right back to Guy and catch him. Ceduzor burned away. And Envy will get another chance.
Maybe that was just one of those rounds, like after that happens for Poppin, you're just like, all right, just send it, we're gonna win it anyways, just send it. And then yeah, Exter comes up with a magic yet again, getting the dimensional drift online as well to just reveal all of those positions. And you know what, it looks chaotic, it looks messy, but those are the opportunities that Envy want to be playing into. They love that chaos, they love the individual pop-off. When we get to see STE be a little bit more util heavy, a little bit more guided with where they want Envy to go, how they want to play that attack, then we see them come out on top. But that time around, they're just simply bulldozed here.
Again, aggression met. Exter, when does he press that TP button? Kane's arrow walking up with him. The two fraggers letting it flay. Kane the first to strike. Exter's giving himself away. He'll finally TP away. Kane can't exactly do that. He's gonna fight it out until his last breath. And unfortunately, the barrier only takes care of one sideline. Zanatsu sprays on a Poppins. Oh, that's tough. Another huge setback that forces Envy to play farther back. But STE still taking their sweet time, 60 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, still more than enough to work with. The big thing, though, is Exeter is still alive, and that has proven very difficult here for STE Gaming. Of course, this time they do have Zanatsu still alive. I'm expecting to see one of those very classic pops that we see here, but I do like this crunch being set up by Inspire and Exeter. This could come up huge if they're not careful.
Last round it was poppin', and they didn't check it, so now they'll check him, and then Exeter can get the crunch. Convergent Pats catches Exeter's side, though, so they'll meet that one first, and Inspire is still the one that ends up getting a frag, but still, STE, yeah, they make it as easy as they can with a cross like that set up. Ion in 1v3, number 2 on the defensive retake here in OT. Try to win the game here and now. A lot of setup that they can be cycled through, so Ion gotta play a little dirty here. Paranoia to open up the channel onto SW. Alone.
So
caught.
smart.
The rest of STE trying to meet it, and Ion just sprays it down. Cedar's Sword, the only one left, and that shorty is dangerous, but Cedar's Sword holds on. And we go to overtime yet again.
Wow. That... I just gotta say, Ion, such an intelligent play. The neurons were definitely firing there. You have an idea on where they're gonna be standing off. You see the smoke get set up perfectly. The paranoia is absolutely beautiful. And then it comes down to the shorty play that might have brought Envy across the line. And yet, in an unconventional fashion, might I add, it appears that both of these teams are just unstoppable on their attack thus far. And so we will be going to OT yet again. Ion. What a play to almost clutch it up. Cedar's just 23 HP. And yeah, we're going to be seeing a timeout being called now for STE Gaming. I think that this is a good time to kind of calm those nerves down, especially knowing that Envy are kind of getting a little antsy in their chairs. You can tell with the gameplay style that they kind of are using right now. It's a lot more aggressive, a lot more fast, a lot more just furious, honestly. And STE once again can set up some traps here, get something going, calm that down, have them play into it. Then I think that they can come out on top.
It's a tough balance you have to strike between getting that warmed up for the rest of the match, where both of these teams are starting to enter that peak, and overheating to where that kettle starts whistling. So Envy, like you said, huge time for a mental reset. Try to really set up this blockade now and continue winning these openings as they have been. Continue setting up that heartbreak for STE and the Sao Paulo crowd. Once again, giving so much responsibility to T-Sora on this B site, but it's not where Envy's going to strike first. Oh, Zanatsu! He's walking up to it this time, and no one's there. Inspire was stuck.
Okay, well, that's an excellent opening pick here. A lot of that kind of like far smoke pressure gets eliminated. Ion still though alive. Smoke's still alive for Envy, as this is just completely different from what we've seen. We've seen that kind of like bulldoze style. And this time around, it's very slow and very patient, allowing a lot of room to be taken from STE Gaming.
Oh, listen to that crowd. They might give it away to Envy. Nope, Poppins caught. IGL for IGL. Rips his head off and makes this the toughest attack overtime round that Envy has had yet. Look how slow they have to play now. They haven't cleared out a lick of Geese setup, and they won't. All right, Exeter. Yeah, now they'll burn the wires now that the spike is down. Oh, he's going to use both of his teammates to try to get up there.
Oh, no way.
Oh, Exeter's poked out. Do they rush it?
Huge paranoia.
Oh, T-Sora. Yeah, Paranoia is back. Big amount of space gained back for the 3-stack. You're watching SW, though. Is he able to crack open this off angle that Ion has? This is disgusting. Cliffhanging, and T-Sora meets it first. They have to catch it, and Zanatsu does. No immediate follow-up, but the blind from Exeter is gorgeous. Sets up Kane, who has to try to save this, and he doesn't have the spacing. STE win their first defensive round in overtime and get their first game point of the match.
The tactical timeout being so important for them to kind of cool off their heads, play that a little bit more scripted. The crowd getting off their feet at this point. Once again, vibes at an all-time high. And I think that when things kind of get as crazy as they have been, this is the perfect time to just play a cool game, slow it down a little bit more, and then you're going to find all of these opportunities that Envy are kind of allowing you to have. I mean, just the patience allowed them to find that middle crunch. And now STE, for the first time in a little bit, are on map point here. One more round to close it out, and they are on the offense.
Doing a thing.
Now, Zanatsu yet again meeting that aggression first. Kane Zera!
Cage triggered.
There were so many questions about him coming into this match. When does that performance come up? How are you feeling about the legacy that you're trying to bring to Envy? What the hell is this Sage pick, dude? And Envy are just starting to get shut down off of that so often. Zanatsu is feeling that confidence, and Envy's is waning.
Once again, play a patient game right now if you are STE. I think that Envy are feeling the pressure. Speaking of pressure,
Okay.
Inspire just finds a spray down,
Come
finds another.
on! That's 2, 3, Inspire!
Spike down A.
Just
Oh
takes
my
a
goodness
step
me.
out. Like a dad checking his new lawnmower. Like, putting his hands on his hips like, yep, oh, she's a beaut.
Oh my goodness.
Cracking 3 through the smoke, are you joking? That's unreal.
Just walks out and gets the spray down. Like, that should have been unbelievable. Everything was pointing to STE being able to win that round, but Inspire just walks out, tap. Oh, look, I found a headshot. Whoa, look at me go. And then one more. Oops. Was that, sorry, the main duelist that you were hoping to be able to walk in and enter in onto the site? Not anymore. And then just that buys enough time because STE just backtrack for a second. And so we will go again 15-15 on map number 1 for both of these teams to qualify into playoffs. One of them has to go home.
Endless second chances given to these teams, but eventually, for one, they will disappear.
Oh my
And these
goodness.
extensions, another flank. Now it's SW and Zanatsu working together. So less of a stack here in the back, and Envy, historically, they've tried to fight that out. When that happens, Exter, as always, flashing off of his bloody self. Stack behind him, though, and seeing how much they can get rid of. Kane Zero with the slow orb to prevent STE from being the aggressors. This is huge if the timing's good. 3 have flipped the site. Do they sandwich it properly? Ion meeting it early on the cliff jump, and everyone from Envy shreds. Not a single opening works. And look at how contained they are. They're like, this is how every round should be going. We should be thwomping these guys.
Absolutely,
That's the
they
kind
should
of confidence they need to have.
And like, once again, with how this whole thing is kind of shaken out, right? Like, the patient plays coming through here. We're not going to talk about that one because that was a little bit of a whoopsie, but it's just patient from Envy's side this time around. They're waiting for the crunch to kind of go through, and they've set up the traps for STE to just walk into. And so, once again, we get to see another potential map winning round coming through. Envy this time in front and potentially able to kind of stall things out. They're going to be taking the tack time out to cool off their heads a little bit because it still has been heroics, but it looks like things might have just calmed down a little bit. On the side of STE Gaming, a little bit too patient that time, not ready for the aggression that Envy we're going to be kind of swinging through with. And yeah, let's kind of see how this one shakes out here because the players on both of these teams right now are feeling a little bit more confident coming into these overtime rounds, which don't seem like they're going to end.
Again, it seems like if either team is able to point the spotlight on the other before they peek out, it's kind of done. And that's one of the few times where you're like, damn, that Sage pick by Kane did kind of numbers there because the slow orb prevents them from, you know, swinging out at the same time, causing that pressure internally on every end. And after SW got that first blood, you're already paying attention to the flip. So Envy were able to play damage control very beautifully off of that. And as always, you know, the shots are going to be lined up. We know that for a fact. So does STE keep this party going for OT number 5? Or does Envy steal away the breakpoint map here and now? Extra on the glass cannon up.
Kane Zera again, being left alone to watch mid. Seen this happen time and again on that defense. Usually at least walking away with one, but a lot more passive in this game. And I think that that role has been really a better ease into the nerves and the pressure that kind of come with playing on stage. It's true.
Kane. And is he gonna fight it? Oh, Zanatsu's going to, pressing up,
Oh,
and
geez.
just barely avoiding the intel. Now when do you fight it? Because Kane can't exactly press out of here, so Poppin's gonna have to facilitate. Catches the 3 stack with the drone. Now that pressure is mounting, and the Bolt is gonna let Kane get some spray damage down. He is down to 2 HP. As Stella have not made any headway onto a site.
Honestly, once again, just excellent utility coming through from Poppin. Not only gets the information, but able to just find so much information to make it so that those kills can kind of come through. This is going to be a crunch into Ion, who's now down to 10 HP himself.
Yeah, must have gotten popped in Zanatsu with the entry despite the slow orb. He's able to just stand it down, and that heal orb from Kane is going to be able to bring Ion back up to full, but in this 4v5, still tough, and Ion can't play onto his smoke. T-Sora's done it before he can get inside. So it's Kane's era that will now play into 2 simultaneous smokes and poke out his barrel. SW catches it, and he's lined in. A full shutdown. That looks to bring us to 16 all.
Blocking vision.
Unless Inspire comes up with something unbelievably disgusting. The flanks are already coming out online here. Zanatsu, the first one to peek around the corner. Makes that one happen. But yeah, once again, this is just classbook STE Gaming coming through here, writing their equations, doing their mathematical models, knowing exactly how to play things and where to position all of their members. And it looks good every single time. When they're playing this kind of calm style on this attack, it's feeling a lot more controlled. They're able to contain the chaos that comes out from Envy's side, especially with all these disgusting angles being held by all of their individual players. And so, Tedrick, we go again, 16 to 16.
God, Extra's up to 34, 25, 17. That's like my high school longer combination.
Don't miss me too much.
Don't give that information away. You might still be using the lock.
Nothing's in there anymore.
Okay.
Cage triggered.
Do I sound? Well, I do sound like I'm still in high school. Ooh, another spray through, another kill. God, Envy just need to trace one bullet and they just stencil away a kill. It's insane. Just terrific sense individually. Once again, Ion, front and center for that flank kill. Now it's just a backline, and Stella can't make any headway there either. Every extension you could ask for Envy. As simple an OT win as it gets. Could it be flawless? Has the potential to be. T-Sora. Oh, he's good for one here, and he'll continue to be. But that should do it. SW, good lord. How many does it get away with before this is said and done? Extra's position given away. We still have to watch the second. And we're just toying him with a little bit. Yeah. So game point, again, for Envy here. About as certain a take as you would expect. Their A side still looks very strong.
Yeah, it really does. And we find ourselves yet again in a position where they could potentially win map 1. Once again, it's STE Gaming's map choice here. And it's just like these timings that they always seem to find. It's just so much more aggressive on the attack. They're able to just kind of navigate through, which is, once again, so interesting because this map had, during regulation, was so heavily defensive sided. And suddenly, both these teams have just absolutely activated on the attack here. Ion this time with the rifle.
Hey.
A cheeky play coming through. All
The
the way up
operator,
top.
and he catches the Natsu!
Oh boy.
That is ridiculous! The glass cannon on the Omen with the barrier to raise up, and you save it for 18-16?
Throw the playbook out the window at that point. We're just having fun right now. Unbelievable play with massive impact as T-Sora goes down as well.
Come on, dude! Unbelievable work from Ion, who's still rocking this operator from heaven as the rest of Envy can go for the crunch, as Stellai are forced to enter onto B. No other options, potentially no other chances. It's gotta be here. And Envy better not screw this one up. Exter, that's exactly what he does. Plays off himself, off of his own flash. C2 Zord, 1-for-1. Yi, 1-for-1, holding off of heaven. Ion, tough break. Yi passes it down, turns into a 1v1 against Inspire. It would be 4 for him. And the Cypher ulti gives away his position. A second time for Gi to turn onto it, and Inspire is not
There's
looking!
just no way
How
that.
the hell did they do that?
Oh no! The instrumental collapse from Envy on that 1v4. Are you kidding me, man? The fact too that they are just so confident that it kind of bites them in the butt there. Ion giving the team such a massive opportunity to win out that round, to finally close things down, but then they all just walk out one by one. There's just
That
no
lock.
utility to back it up, and then Inspire with the misread allows the 1v4 to come through. The crowd on their feet. STE Gaming feeling so confident after that last play. Unbelievable stuff. And well, we go again, 17-17 from unbelievable plays coming through from both of these teams right now.
And we're just on map 1, bro.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm so glad we're warm, right? This is what you wanted to see from both teams, fighting for their life, fighting for their dream. Envy, take over again. Inspire, stopped after his first frag on mid. It's down to the 4 stack on this B site. And Kane's Era playing with this unconventional barrier on the cliff,
Planted.
trying to spin it again.
Spike already going down, though. So time already ticking against them. 4v4 here. Retakes have looked good so far. Geed looking for something.
STE can skirt a lot of these visions that Kane has set up and still kill Extra unpunished. Just feels like the prongs are not met. There's no off angles, and the Tanatsu light speed clears away on top of the paranoia. I mean, that's about as simple a trap as you could set up by STE at this point in the game, and yet it looks so beautiful.
Once again, just the initiation coming through from Tisora is looking so fantastic for the rest of STE Gaming to just absolutely capitalize on there. I mean, they just kind of walked things through, and I'm not sure if you saw, but there was one other player still alive in the back line, and still, they make sure that they're crossing their T's, dotting their I's. You know Zanatsu is going to be flying through, but right now, it's looking really clean coming through from STE Gaming. The confidence is back, thanks to Gee's hero plays. If that last round didn't happen, then I don't think we'd be seeing STE on the match point that we see them on now.
Can they complete here for their map, for their crowd? Inches of the early play we saw. Gee's been aggressive with this cam up mid in previous attack rounds on OT. And this time Envy don't meet it with personnel, but rather just a smoke on the books.
Oh, Kane's Era still alone, but will have Egster helping out while Poppin uses that utility to flush it out. But I think at this point, this has been the right call from STE Gaming. They just give up that middle presence. They've been completely overrun every single time by the utility, just losing members for no good reason.
Yeah.
So let's just save it for when we going for a little bit of a switch up here, just off the Owl Drone information, as the rest of the group seem primed and ready to get on to A.
Yeah, this has been one of the best looking cells we've seen so far, but still Inspire with the double star is going to be able to at least stop the early entry from Zanatsu, but Inspire is tracked after he trails the shots, and SW can also counter Poppin as well. This Astra just continuing to put up these numbers. And now, they walk in tandem with Tisora on the front line, popping that Cosmic Divide with the 2 kills he's got in the pocket. And Envy have to course it back. It's got to be their own hero moments that make this work, and Kane's Arrow reveals his back early on, but the flash in still lets him get the opening frag before getting traded away. SW on for 4 as STE lay waste. And they've dragged it along until it's run its course. 19-17, STE win their pick of Abyss.
What a crazy map to kind of start off this series with. I mean, obviously, if you watched the games yesterday, you know that Envy came in a little bit cold after their defeat against TSM. Meanwhile, STE Gaming having pretty much no information on what these guys were going to be playing here. Honestly, going for this map choice felt like such a weird move. The compositional changes as well on Envy's side. So many different variables being added into the equation, and yet still